Medicaid Asset Protection Trust is a great tool that could be used to pre-qualify you for Medicaid long-term care benefits and avoid losing your home and life savings to nursing home expenses. A Medicaid Asset Protection Trust is a type of a living trust, specifically drafted in a way that the assets held in trust will be disregarded in case the grantor, the person who created the trust, or his or her spouse need to apply for Medicaid in the future. A trust is a legal entity like an LLC or a corporation, but in a way it's very different. You can think of it as a box where you can put your home and other assets for safekeeping. When you create a trust, there are three parties to a trust: a grantor, a trustee, and beneficiaries. You or your spouse would be considered a grantor or grantors. You created the trust, you transfer your property into the trust, and you set the rules of the trust for while you're alive and well. If something happens to you, and then upon your passing, how everything will be divided for your children or other beneficiaries. Think of it as a substitute for your will. The next party is a trustee. It could be one of your children or more than one, so they would serve as co-trustees. And finally, the beneficiaries. For most people, it would also be their children. Once the trust is created, it must be funded. Funding the trust means that you retitle your home and other assets in the name of the trust. A trust is not a special account or a place. It's just a holding structure, a legal entity. The trust can hold title to your home, your investment accounts, your savings or checking account. It's still the same bank and the same account, just the name on the statement would be the name of your trust instead of your personal name. There are many advantages to doing it this way as opposed to transferring everything directly to your children while you're alive. First, if your assets are held in a trust, your children cannot really treat your property as theirs. Even if you name your children as trustees or co-trustees, they're fiduciaries. They have responsibility to you and other beneficiaries. Second, a trust protects the home and other assets not only from Medicaid, but from any creditors of your children. For example, if they have financial or marital problems, they cannot lose your assets to their creditors or their spouse. The trust will prevent that. And finally, unlike an outright gift, a properly drafted trust provides a tax-efficient way to pass on inheritance to your children or other beneficiaries. It will preserve capital gains and some other tax exemptions during your life, and then they step up in basis upon your death. In many cases, especially when there is more than one child, the trust will provide a structure and a system of checks and balances to keep your property, your assets, protected while you're alive, and avoid a family squabble if you become incapacitated or upon your death. Remember that in most cases, to gain Medicaid eligibility and protect your home and life savings, this type of planning should be considered at least 5 years before you or your spouse may need Medicaid long-term care benefits.